As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. What's up, dude?
It's fucking cold out. Tell you what.
Yeah, a little chilly.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Well, if people are watching on YouTube, you might notice that he's in a vest and I'm in a jacket. In my house, we are anti-heater until we absolutely have to turn the heater on.
Yeah.
I think tonight might be the night because,
Yeah, it's dropping quick, too.
it's chilly in here.
And I love the people that are listening to this in, sunny, warm areas that are like, I don't know what cold is.
Yeah, they don't have seasons. If you don't have seasons, you can get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's remember, they are the same people that also can't drive in the snow. Like
Oh
Atlanta.
my God. So when I lived in Texas, dude, and having grown up in Philly and then spent a lot of time in Texas, in West Texas, you don't get a lot of wet weather,
Yeah.
period. So if it was like
You get some NATOs?
you get some NATOs here and there. They even got the sirens and everything.
Nice.
But if it was like a half an inch of snow, it is chaos.
Yeah.
No one leaves the house, and people that do, they're driving all over the road. It's so bad that if there's like an inch of water from rain, it's the same thing.
That's
It's
hilarious.
just a nightmare. Yeah.
That's incredible. And you would think that they make cars differently for different areas of the country. No, it's all the same cars.
No, same
People
cars.
just have no idea how to drive it.
I
It's
will.
funny.
I will say there's actually that's not true because in Florida there's no 4-wheel drive. A lot of people don't have 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, they don't spend the extra money
I
on
guess
it.
in Texas they do, but Florida you don't really need it.
Yeah, in Texas, I imagine everybody's driving like a 1985 Silverado.
Careful, you're gonna piss off the Ford people down there.
Oh, yeah, true.
get
F-150,
both.
250, 350.
350, the 450. Ever seen one of those?
Yeah, they're
Welcome to
huge.
Truck Talk with the Bros.
Yeah, seriously. But no, I mean, other than that, it's we got Dallas week.
Dallas
Huge week. It's starting to feel like football weather on top of it being cold, of course. And really excited for just, a good football weekend.
Yeah, me
Pumped for
too.
it.
This is like the biggest week of the year for us as far as football season goes because we're gonna play the Cowboys again. But the first Cowboys week always seems like a bigger deal than
Yeah.
second Cowboys week.
Well, I'm going to Dallas this year.
Oh, you're going down?
I'm going to Dallas this year. Second weekend of December.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
so
look.
I'll be able to get down there
Say
and
what you will about the Cowboys being, the most disgusting franchise in all of football. The fact that they sell all their gear in the airports is, it's just a despicable showing. Okay, and I make my videos every time I go through. People think
course,
those are they think they're like a parody or a joke.
no.
I'm dead serious.
Or
when I-
the same video that you used 3 times in a row.
no, it's
Every time you go.
It's me. It's a new video every time, and I'm going to probably get flagged by TSA. They're going to be like, this guy every time he comes in, he takes a video right in this spot.
Yeah.
It's a little sketchy,
Planning something.
but AT&T Stadium is a really good place to go watch a game.
Sure, yeah, but Arlington, bit of a truck stop.
Really much there.
No, there's not really much there. I actually had to stay there for work one time, and it was awful. But Dallas is kind of nice. And I will say this about the Cowboys fans: the ones that you meet in the actual Dallas area, kind of nice because
No,
they
they
actually
are
care
nice.
about their team, and it's their local team. It's the douchebags that live in Jersey, Philly, fucking you name it, that are Cowboys fans because they also support the Lakers and the Yankees and Duke basketball. Those are the real assholes.
You know who they are? They're the people that say things like, I'm not a basketball fan. I'm a LeBron fan.
Yes.
Like that guy.
That really rubs me the wrong
That's
way.
the worst. You
can't
can't
stand
stand
that.
for a guy that
Yeah.
plays. You need to have a team, okay? And if you're a that's my guy, they don't know who you are.
No.
Okay, just remember that next time that you're going to sell out for LeBron and look, we can get in the whole GOAT conversation, whatever. That's a whole different podcast.
I don't know if we want to do that.
No,
yet.
we're not. I'm just simply saying, if you stand for one person in any league, any sport, and not a team,
Yeah,
you are not a sports fan.
I agree.
Hot takes.
Fully agree. Hot takes at the pros.
But anyway, we've talked your ear off enough about sports, so let's go to a little Bravo. We'll have a little shift here. And I want to start out with our power rankings because we got a lot of new shows coming in
much.
soon, right? There's a
A lot to keep track of, and there's more coming.
That's what I mean.
Miami
So
starts tonight.
I want to get our ducks in a row so that when we have the new shows coming in, we know where we stand. So let's start right now. I'll go first. Okay.
Yeah.
Up first for me, shockingly, is Southern Charm. I think Southern Charm has had a great season. I think that everyone's firing on all cylinders. Even Shep, like his shit that pissed me off last year, he's not doing a lot of that stuff. Obviously, we had a very heart-wrenching moment with Olivia and her brother passing away. So it's just been a very captivating season. There's been a lot of real emotion, a lot of raw emotion. We're getting a lot out of these characters, and it's nice for me to see, and obviously, it's a tragic situation. It's terrible, but to see genuine vulnerability from people, to see real emotions, to see real connections amongst the cast is so important, especially for this crew that can get kind of sidelined on, they're not always on the up and up. They kind of try to get over on each other all the time, and everyone seems to lie a lot.
Yeah.
At least on the dude side of things. So to see all the bullshit pushed aside and to see some real connections among this cast it's made for a really good season so far.
It has. Yeah, I agree.
So
where you go,
that's
number 2?
1. 2 is Salt Lake. 3, RHONY's not really in it anymore, I guess.
I guess we can take RHONY out.
Yeah.
Just because we got like the end of the season and they kind of just summed it up pretty much. That's really what the reunion was all about. You can leave it in for now.
Yeah, so
But
3
when we do it next week, it's gone.
3's RHONY and then 4 Winter House.
Yeah, I actually have the exact same.
Is it? Yeah.
It's the exact same, and it's just because of what we just said overall. It's going to get chaotic. I was looking, and obviously, there are new shows just kind of coming out. I don't know what the hell Bravo's doing with the schedule. I feel like we went through a lull, and maybe it was just the OC of it all because we were just so tired of that
it was a
show.
lull. There was like 3 shows for like 4 months.
Yeah. Why couldn't you throw like Winter House out during that span? Why couldn't you throw like, you're going to start up Beverly Hills, which everybody's going to watch. You're going to start up Miami, which is a huge newcomer back to Bravo Network.
Yeah.
That everybody's going to watch because they had a great season last year. You're going to put those 2 on the same night and throw a really compelling season of Southern Charm in there with Salt Lake coming back to form. There's just too much going on. I actually thought back. We used to do 1 episode a week. How the fuck would we have done that?
No idea.
We would have been getting hate mail from people that are like, why are you not talking about this show or this show? It's like,
or why are your episodes 3 hours long?
yeah, and we don't want to do either of those things. We want to make sure that we cover the important points. And look, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. We're going to have to kind of take some direction from the fans, but chopping block's going to have to be Winter House. There's no reason for us to talk about that every single week.
If we have to whack one
3
show,
shows,
if we have to whack one show, Winter House is definitely first to go for me.
Yeah, because it's just going to be tough to do on our Thursday or our Friday episodes, rather, to do Miami, Beverly Hills, and Salt Lake. Like that's a good power 3. Obviously, we can do those 3 for the Friday episodes. Those will be the big episodes. This is honestly just Steele and I talking strategy right now. This is really funny.
Welcome to behind the scenes of the BravBros.
But like this has really been bugging me for the last couple of days because there's just so much content. And honestly, this is what we're gonna have for the next like almost year.
It's gonna be a long time.
There's gonna be a lot of new coming people into
then we got
reality
Vanderpump
TV.
coming again.
Well, a lot of these shows will be done by the time Vanderpump comes back out.
I hope.
I think so. I think Vanderpump's like February, but again, we never know these things. But that being said, there's not going to be any new content TV out there. All the networks are just releasing like things from the vaults that they didn't care about a couple years ago because of the SAG-AFTRA.
AFTRA.
I thought it was AFTA.
Oh man, I think it's SAG-AFTRA.
Whatever, it's over, so it doesn't really matter.
It's not. The writers'
still
strike
going.
Is over. The SAG.
Well, at least they can write some shit. You just can't film it.
You can't film it because you don't have actors. Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people watching reality TV in this next year. And Bravo's in a really good spot. I don't know why they're cramming 7 shows into one, I guess, bracket, if you will. They're just putting a ton of their heavy hitters in right now, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But you know what? There are times
doing it like they framed it as a Super Bowl, where it's just like, here's all this great TV, and maybe they are taking advantage. Maybe they're taking advantage of the lack of scripted television right now. They're like, you know what? We have an opportunity here to dump out a bunch of good content.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how this goes. So maybe they're just trying to, flood the system a little bit.
I think it works, honestly. We're going to get a lot of documentaries.
You know what else it could be? Too. And this is interesting because that Vanity Fair article just came out, The Reality Reckoning from Bethany Frankel.
Yeah.
That article sucked.
Yeah, that was
There
bullshit.
was nothing in it that we didn't know already. I'm glad that it highlighted Ramona being racist officially so you can kick her to the curb. There's been inklings of that for years.
Oh, now Page 6 is up her ass. Everywhere that she goes, there's pictures of her.
Well,
It's
did
so
you
funny.
see her response?
Yeah.
Like, don't spell it out even halfway, you idiot. Like, what's the matter with you?
No.
So she canceled herself. I think she was still somehow going to BravoCon after it came out. That was the nail in the coffin that Bravo was looking for. They're like, oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now we can whack you officially.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing that came out was like groundbreaking. It was
on
just,
that Ultimate Girls trip, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
boy.
We got, see, this is the problem with Ultimate Girl
When the
strips.
fuck is that coming out?
I don't know now.
We still have to wonder when Brandy versus Carolyn Manzo
That's
is
what I'm
coming out.
saying.
Too.
You're having too
So-
many, and also Leah McSweeney's in that one, and she was in the Reality Reckoning article.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it painted the picture of Bravo that we all know. It's heavily influenced by alcohol. Like, I'm sure that the production teams push certain things, obviously. Like, nothing is stuff that we didn't know. And for this article and for Bethany to go on this rampage for the last 6 months to a year and claiming these big claims that she's taking down the network, that she's coming after Andy Cohen, that she is being the biggest hypocrite in the world because she made all of her money and all of her exposure came from Bravo. She used to shove Skinny Girl Margarita down everybody's fucking throat at every available opportunity on TV, and then wants to vilify the network for pushing booze.
You wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for the network. I don't understand
let's
biting
really
the
make-
hands
yeah.
that feed you. It
Seriously.
never makes any sense. Like, you could have just kept your mouth shut, and maybe Bravo's doing 1,000 fucking spinoffs. They're doing 1,000 reunion tours or whatever the hell you want to call them. You could have gotten somewhere back into it and come back into the good graces of people's viewership. Instead, you're doing this dumb bullshit, and you screwed yourself.
You screwed yourself.
I couldn't be happier with it.
Congrats. You played yourself.
Yeah, I could not be happier
I
with that
couldn't
because
either.
we obviously had the original take that we were tired of her to begin with, and we got a lot of hate for it, and now people are starting to realize we were right the whole time.
You were totally right.
You know
the whole
what's
time.
always you can always count on? Death, taxes, and the bros being right the entire goddamn time. Don't doubt us. We're always fucking right.
Yeah. And if we're not, we'll say it on the next episode.
We certainly
But
will.
we're usually pretty close. And now, look, do I have harbored anger for people that came after us after the crab leg video?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, of course. And I'll hold on to it forever because I will die with that shit. It keeps me going. But
Keeps you going and kills you at the same time.
yeah, I
It's
know.
great.
But look, like Shooter said, we were right. And I'm glad that hopefully this can kind of close the book on this thing. But you know that we're going to get 1,000 reaction videos. The best part of this entire article that came out was Ebony's quote of saying, fuck Bethany Frankel.
Yeah.
Like, even somebody that's supposed to be on your team with this thing still says, go fuck yourself because you try to take all the credit. And her whole entire platform in this thing was just insane. The way she went about it, she took away all of her own credibility by all of her shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
If you just stayed in the
You know what
background,
the worst part is? If she had just done like the Raquel thing and then shut the fuck up, we would have forgotten about her.
right?
Like, we haven't talked about that in a long time, but she keeps popping up because she's forcing herself out there. So she's screwing herself over by saying dumb things and keeping herself in the spotlight at the same time. It's really dumb. I think that whoever her PR person is should be fired. If it's herself,
Oh,
fire herself.
she definitely does her own PR. And if she has a PR team, they have no hair left because they have, one, lost it from stress, and two, have
Or
ripped
they're
out
just
the other.
idiots and they feel like no bad presses or all press, whatever the fuck the phrase
There's no
is.
such thing as bad press.
There we go. Is that it?
Yeah. Or all press is good press.
All press
or
is good.
there's no
press.
such thing as bad
Yeah,
press.
all press is good press is probably what I was going for. Either way, doesn't matter. I say we just move on.
I say Ebony said it best.
Yep, agreed.
But let's jump in. We're going to do the RHONY reunion, but it's going to be just a quick recap because not a ton happened. They pretty much, this is the most PC reunion I think we've ever seen. It was everybody trying their best to smooth everything over. And
Yeah.
what I think we got, and then we're going to jump in. But to sum it up for me, as we predicted throughout the season, Sai and Erin do not know how they're coming off. They think they're killing it. They are absolutely not. And we discussed this a lot where during the season, they don't get to see what they're doing. They have
Yeah.
to wait and watch like the rest of us. They get it a little bit earlier than we do, but it's the same week. So they clearly went back and watched and were like, shit, we look awful. We've read the comments. They're not nice. Nobody likes us.
I think that's the best part is Sai even during this episode looked over. I forget who she was talking to. Maybe she was talking to Jessel and she said, "Did you even rewatch this season? Did you even watch that episode? Like, did you?"
Yeah, with
Because
blinders on.
you came back in and I saw there was one comment online that was talking about at least, at the end of the day, Sai was consistent. She is who
was.
she is. You can say that. I mean, Erin changed up 50 different times. Jenna, whatever. It's just this whole reunion for me, there was way more of those times where it's like Andy sitting in the front saying, "And let's take a look back at how this season went for Jenna."
Yeah.
And they did it for all of them. And if you compiled it, it's almost an entire episode.
Yeah.
Like, they put everything out there again that we've already watched. I don't really get anything out of that. And I think that's really all they were doing. There wasn't a whole lot of, if you kind of look at the season as a whole, there wasn't a lot of sticking points. There wasn't a lot of like true drama. We really didn't even get into Erin and Uba's issue down
No,
in
not really.
Anguilla. So
Anguilla.
I'm never going to say it right.
I know.
And I guess that was one of the major components of the season. That was like a huge tiff, and we got nothing from that. So that was kind of weird. But the main focus was Jessel's marriage, Jessel and Sai, Jessel's backstory, Sai's backstory, and the rest of it was just like a summarization of what happened.
That's
so
pretty much what it was.
and that's okay too, because it's the first season. You don't want to do a whole lot, and we kind of applauded them for not overdoing it with the drama. Pretty much the entire season, we just kind of like got our feet wet, got to know everybody on the show. I hope that everybody's coming back. Obviously, we've talked about this before, but it doesn't look like everybody's coming back. I think next year is going to be a little bit better, but I really don't have any complaints about this year.
I don't either. I think it was a great first year for what it was. I think it was a show getting its feet wet, like you said. I think they didn't try to manufacture shit. Whether the storylines were fun or not, they stuck to them, and they didn't fake stuff.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. As far as this reunion goes, I think what we got was a bunch of women that didn't want to come off as the loser of the season. So they did
That's a
what
good
they
point.
had to do in the reunion to clean up some of their mess. And I appreciate that because we talk about that a lot where somebody might have had a bad season. They have to have a good reunion so that they can kind of move forward into next season on the right foot. That's what we got out of everybody. With the Jessel and Pavitt thing, it bugged me that the women are like, well, we had no idea that you were going through X, Y, and Z. It's like, yeah, but she's not in a place where she needs to explain that to you.
Right.
You don't need to question her marriage simply because you don't understand what's going on. You should be under the guise of, there's probably more to the story. Maybe we shouldn't dig on her for the fact that she hasn't had sex in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly there's more there. So for you to, like, demand from her that she spell that out for you, it's not your business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Whenever somebody says the word demand, I always think, the injury lawyer. Demand Rand, the injury lawyer. I don't know. It's probably like a localized thing. So anybody who's listening in Philadelphia would
If
get
you're
that.
not watching, by the way, I looked over and he had a shit-eating smirk on his face, and that's what I get from that.
Oh man, this is your mind on Bravo.
Jesus.
But no, that I do appreciate what they did all season. And again, I think that people do hype up these reunions because in a lot of shows you get some closure, but we haven't really gotten any closure in any of the reunions recently.
Nah.
There's not a whole lot going on. And even though there wasn't a lot of issues in this season between the women, obviously Jessel and Sai aside, there was reconciliation. It seemed like everybody was okay. Nobody really went after each other really hard in this.
But
So
think
it was
for
just
me,
kind
I
of that.
felt like it was a lot of fake. I didn't believe that they were squashing things.
I think
they're
you hit the
squashing for TV.
I think you hit the nail on the head, though. I think that you realize that Erin and Sai know that they came off wrong the entire season.
Yeah.
They thought they were winning the whole season. That's why we saw their behavior get more and more ramped up throughout the season. And they realized after watching, whoa, okay, we are not that cool. We are kind of assholes. So Erin especially. I mean, Erin, I don't even know what the fuck her personality is. Her personality is a parrot.
Yeah.
She literally just sits on Sai's shoulder and just says the same thing over and over and hopes that she gets fed some crackers. That's pretty much it. Like, Erin want a cracker? Sure, here you go. But the whole season wasn't super tumultuous. And I think what you said earlier, nobody really wanted to lose. So they just kind of reconciled pretty quickly, and that was it. And it was kind of a happy reunion, but it sounds like they're going, which is a weird thing to hear on a reunion. They've been going out with each other. They've been hanging out. Like,
After the
they
Jessel
never
thing was
explicitly
squashed,
say that.
They
Yeah.
just like, oh no, we're good. We've been out. It's
We've,
like, oh,
we've been out together. I think that's kind of cool. I like that.
do
I
too.
want them to be friends. Like, that's the thing. And I know that I'm probably in the minority on this, but after watching all these shows, you realize they're not fucking friends. And I talk about it all the time. In this show, if they say that they've been going out off camera, getting to know each other a little bit better, I'm all in favor. Because
am
that's going
too.
to bring a better, more familiar dynamic to next season. They're going to be happier with each other, or they're going to have actual issues with each other. Enough of the bullshit. Stop waiting until cameras roll to squash your beefs or do whatever the hell you're going to do. Just move on and then do things organically. And I think that they have a good thing going here. I'm interested to see next season. But again, I enjoyed it.
I think that we're teed up for the opportunity for a great second season. And at the same time, they're teed up for a flop of a second season, depending on how they come back. But I think that, like you said, them hanging out off camera is going to help. Them actually being close is going to help. If we feel that as a viewer, it's going to help us connect to the show. The one thing I do want to discuss is I genuinely appreciated Sai recapping her relationship with her mom, the last year with her mom, describing what their relationships ins and outs were, because that was really difficult, and it gives you much more insight. And we heard a little bit about it during the season, but it does make you understand why she ticks the way she does, why she is such a hard ass. And to your point, she was consistently a hard ass. She didn't falter from it. So that is who she is. I appreciate her being authentic. And hearing this story, hearing Sai get emotional about it, seeing her cry and talk about the relationship with her mom and how hard that was, kicking her out of her house to be homeless, and then she passed away 3 months later. Like, all of these things, it's like, okay, this explains a lot. And for you as a character on this show, as a castmate on this show, it's very important for us to hear this part of it, because that allows for us to look past some of the moments where we're like, Jesus, you're being an asshole. And now it's more so, at least for me, where I'm like, all right, I'm ready for Sai to come back for a second season. I'm ready for the entire cast, honestly, Erin as well, because we've seen their downfalls, we've seen their shortcomings. Let's see if they can learn from it, as they're all claiming to have done. Uba also, because Uba was all over the place during this reunion. Sometimes, like, she'll say that she doesn't like something about somebody, and then in the next breath, compliments them.
Right.
It was very
Well,
confusing.
Tamara and Teddy said that she shouldn't have been there in the first place. Why are
Tamara
you even going to
and
show up if you're going
Teddy,
to do that?
Dude, they're
I'm
hang
so
up.
annoyed that I even know that they said
I
that.
know. I like all the clips of them coming out now, and then, Tamara said some stupid shit that was a lie about Uba on the podcast. Nothing new there. Uba reached out to her, or vice versa. Maybe Tamara reached out to
Tamara reached out to
Uba.
her. There's no way Uba reached out to
Uba
Tamara.
posted the shit because she's like, no, I'm not coming on your bullshit podcast where you pander. And even in that DM, Tamara tries to backpedal and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. It's like, then don't fucking say it. This is the problem. Here's the problem with everybody having a platform these days, and the fact that those two, Teddy and Tamara, have a platform in which they speak to thousands, if not millions of people, because they have a big audience.
Right.
You can't just say whatever the fuck you want to say for clicks and views. Like,
That's how podcasts work.
No, it's not, because we
what
don't
we
fucking
do.
do that. No, and I don't even want to joke about it, because we take a lot of pride in the fact that if we say something that's not true, we will immediately amend it. We'll either the next episode or online. Like, and we try not to. We're very, very thorough with, like, the things we discuss. We try not to say shit that's wrong. And when our audience corrects us, we will always say, "Oh, that's our bad." Teddy and
I've
Tamara
got a
don't
take.
fucking do that.
I've got a take. You're not going to like the take. I don't want to be insensitive.
What's your take?
Sai going into the whole backstory with her mom in the reunion, I think she did to you what I think that she wanted. She realizes that she was a huge asshole. She had a vulnerable moment on the reunion and really dug into it. People are giving her a pass now.
Oh, no. I think that it was meticulous. I think that it was calculated.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The entire time she's
but-
talking, that's all I could think about.
But at the same time, that doesn't take away from the story that she
Sure.
told.
I
And it
already
doesn't-
heard your story, though.
But not to that.
There's no
depth.
point in her really doing all of that on the reunion unless she gains something
But
from it.
that goes to what I said when we started the episode. I think that was her and Erin's goal out of the gate was, all right, what can
I
we
will
do
say
to
that,
clean it
too.
up?
It seems like Sai at least had a plan.
Yeah.
Like,
appreciate a plan.
that story didn't, like, touch me as much as maybe it touched everybody else, just because, one, I'm probably heartless and cold.
Yeah, that's true.
But two, I am calculated, and that's kind of what I thought that she was doing. She was doing that in a way that, wow, a lot of people think that I'm a real hard ass going after Jessel. This is why I'm a hard ass. Here's my story. We've heard your story. The whole issue of this season with you and Jessel is you told your story. Jessel tried to tell hers. You jumped down her throat. Now you want to tell more of your story and get more specific with your story in the middle of the reunion after everybody called you an asshole. That's just you kind of deflecting and saying, well, this is what I went through. This is why I am the way that I am. I don't believe that. You are the way that you are because you choose to be the way that you are. You're an asshole because you're an asshole. You decided to go after Jessel because you are an asshole. You wanted to be an asshole to Jessel. You wanted to be queen bee of the group. You wanted people to flock to you, and you wanted to be a bully. That's what she was all season. Jessel grew under that bully tutelage, if you will, and she became a bigger person. She became a better person. She was sitting next to Andy. You're 3 seats away, girl. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but somebody realized along the way you were not doing what you thought you were doing all season. This was your chance to have a really touching moment. It probably worked on like 80% of the audience. Didn't work on me. Not on me.
Well, here's my counter. I agree with you. This is kind of what I was saying, whereas they came into this reunion prepped. So I know how you watch these shows and you appreciate gameplay. I know you do. So from a gameplay standpoint, I appreciate one having a plan in the reunion. I always appreciate when people come in prepared with what they're trying to do and execution.
She burned Erin early on. I don't.
She
I
burned
don't.
Aaron. She also said some shit about Jessel, where she's
Yeah,
like,
I
I don't
don't-
see a connection. That's where you see. But here's
She
my
had a
point.
plan. It just wasn't a good one.
But to me, it did enough to where I'm like, all right, season 2, let's go.
I don't need her for season 2.
You don't? You
Nope.
still out?
I think everybody's gonna come back, and I'm okay if everybody comes back. But if I was handpicking the cast, she wouldn't be in season 2.
That's fair.
We can grade her reunion performance.
Oh, should we do that?
Give her a C plus.
I give her a B minus.
Pretty close, actually.
Yeah, I give
Not
her a
bad.
B minus.
She passes, but
She passes.
skin of her teeth.
I give Aaron a C minus.
Erin gets a D.
a C minus,
Okay, all right.
and Uba B.
Uba gets a D minus. I have no idea what Uba was
That's
trying
a
to
good
accomplish.
point. Actually, a B is very strong.
I'm not saying like I
rescind
didn't
that.
need her to show up. I didn't need her to do anything. I just have no idea what she was doing.
I don't need. Well, here I think that they were like all caught off guard with what a reunion is. I think that they've watched them in the past and like I don't want to
Gotta watch the game
like
film.
I don't want to come off like that. So they all
Oh, so
just.
you think they watched too much game film?
I think that they didn't want to end the reunion being the bad guy.
Well, no reunion ever ends really. Well, except for the VPR reunion last year. No reunion really ever ends as somebody being the bad guy. They end with, here's a shot of tequila.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can come off looking like an idiot. Look at Shannon. You know, she had a terrible
She
reunion.
did, yeah.
Like
It's-
that's my point. I
you
think
know,
that
you still
everybody
do a shot of tequila and hug
still
each
do a
other
shot of
afterwards.
tequila. Everyone high fives. It's fake as fuck. This one didn't feel. I don't know. There was fake moments only because even when they get into it with each other, Bryn and Uba get into it. She says, "I don't put people in the funeral," or what did she say? "I don't put people in the hospital. I put them in the funeral home."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I bury people, whatever." Back and forth. But then 2 minutes later, they're cool. That's where I'm like, all right, they're all just trying to smooth it over for the sake of the audience. They want to clean slate
They're
it.
trying to smooth it over while also showing up, if that makes sense.
That's
They're trying
exactly
to
what
make
it is.
sure that they are remembered from this reunion and that it was smoothed over. They want to smooth it over for everybody's sake, including the cast and Andy and production and whatever, because they want to make sure that they have a season 2. Because if you go too hard, you might be on the chopping block,
Yeah.
especially with a new show. And there's already rumblings about bringing somebody from the old cast back up with
Don't do
Leah,
that.
and like just don't do that. Leave it alone if you're going to leave it alone. But if you do have a really bad reunion, you could get chopped. I don't think that anybody was really under that pressure. But, you never know what somebody's going to think going into a high pressure situation like that. Overall, I could have done without the reunion in total.
Yeah, I don't
The
think it
season spoke
needed
for
it.
itself. It was pretty good. But I'm not going to judge the entire season on the reunion, and I never do. I'm just going to leave it as it is.
Yeah, I think that we leave it there and high hopes for season 2. I think it's going to be good. So I'm looking forward to it. But all in all, ladies, nice first season. They did a good job. They delivered, and the reunion was whatever, but you got to start somewhere. So since we missed an episode of Southern Charm, we're going to quickly touch on it because it's an important one, and then we're going to do this most recent episode. So let's start out last week. We get, in the beginning of the episode, we get some scenes that I actually wanted. I wanted to see JT with his mom. He acts exactly how I thought he would act with her.
His mom's a hard ass.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie. She's a tough cookie, and it explains a lot about JT.
It does.
Honestly.
It really does. It sheds a light on who JT is.
But we also get some more insight into the nude photo. Craig apparently has seen the picture. We didn't know that, which that to me isn't an indictment on Taylor. That is Whitney being a scumbag.
Yeah, what the fuck? Patricia and Whitney, whatever.
We talked about
We
that.
like
That's
what they are, yeah.
weird. But it's weird. And look,
It's super weird.
I really don't think enough is being said.
That's
and
the
even,
opposite of JT and his mom right
Yeah,
there.
seriously. But I don't think enough is being said, especially in this week's episode, about the fact that Whitney is showing people. I think that's fucking gross. That's really, really gross for somebody to get a nude photo, whether Taylor was acting out of her mind or not during the time. And she admits, like, I was being a little erratic because of the things going on. Why would you ever show somebody another nude photo of somebody else? That doesn't make sense to me.
Whitney has a collection of them. that
Oh,
he
for
probably
sure.
He doesn't do anything weird or sexual with it. He just likes to look at it now and again.
But don't show people.
He absolutely does because he wants people to think that he's cool.
It's just gross. But the biggest thing that happened this episode is Leva gets a phone call while she's having dinner with Vanita, and we hear about Olivia's brother Connor passing away. And obviously, this is a very serious thing, and watching it transpire on TV was very emotional. And this whole episode was very emotional. And we get the morning after, and Austin's on the phone with Taylor, and he is torn up because, as we know, he lost his sister when he was younger. And this hit him very close to home, as it would. You know, it's a very unique situation to share this bond with somebody. And all the bullshit aside, right? All the Taylor and Austen nonsense aside, this is the one person that can actually connect with Olivia on this matter. And for him in this moment, you can see the pain. Like, that was real, where he's like, all I want to do is go over there and hug her and tell her it's going to be okay and try to help her through this. And I don't see any malintent there at all. I think that this is a man that's stuck between a rock and a hard place of his own doing, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, fuck, this is a really difficult scene for me to watch, because you see this guy going through all of the emotions that he felt when he lost his sister. It's all coming back to the top. He actually can offer some comfort to Olivia, but it's like, how do you cross that boundary knowing what you've just done to her? And I think that for me, one of the biggest takeaways between that episode and this week as well, there's certain things that take priority over bullshit, right?
Oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
The things that have happened between Taylor and Austen do not need to be talked about right now, in my opinion, because this is a much bigger thing.
I do agree with that. However, watching it, you do get to see Taylor and Austen and how they react to it.
Yeah.
And I was watching thinking, well, you know, Austin's pretty selfish. I agree with everything that you said. I feel like he felt for her. He rightfully acknowledged the fact that he was stuck between that rock and the hard place. All he wanted to do was go over and comfort her and hug her. And he realized that the last conversation that they had, she told him to fuck off and she never wants to see him again, pretty much. So, like, that's a really tough situation to be in because, as we know, he shares that bond and he can go over and actually provide some perspective, some comfort on a completely different level than anybody else can. And he was really hurting for her. Taylor was not.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. I think Taylor was being selfish. And we
I could
see that
see
all
hints
in
of
the
that.
call that she has with Vanita, that then Leva obviously jumps in on. Taylor was being selfish. Taylor was saying that she is the only one who can really be there for Olivia in this situation.
Well, she said that
She's
she
the
needs her
closest
real
person.
friends around
Yes.
her.
Taylor saying that is kind of indicative of how she thinks. She doesn't care about any of this. She's not taking ownership for the fact that her and Austen did this behind Olivia's back, and she doesn't feel bad for it. She feels bad because she fucked up and she lost a friend, but she didn't feel bad for Olivia in that situation.
I think
for
that-
this, it's a little different. This, I think that Taylor's looking at this like, we can put this bullshit behind us now because this emotional tragedy just happened, and I can step in there and be the person that she cries on. I think that I looked at it way different.
Do I see inklings of selfishness? Yes. Do I think that she doesn't feel for Olivia? Absolutely not. I think that she...
No, I think that she feels for Olivia, but the two can be true at the same time.
Yeah, I think that she sees this as an avenue to maybe get
an
back
opportunity
into
for
her
her.
life.
Yep.
But I think that, you know, her ambitions aside for whatever she's doing it for, I do think that she cares. I do think that she wants to help Olivia through it. I think
she cares, but she doesn't. She should have the same thinking that Austen has.
I agree. Where it's
She
like,
should be.
how do I
She
go
should be
about this?
verbalizing and feeling and showing. I can't do this because I betrayed you. I'm a traitor to our friendship, and I am in a really tough place. I want to be there for you, but I can't because of how hard I hurt you
So you
last week.
think that
and I
her-
want to, but I can't. And she didn't voice any of that.
You think
Austen
that-
immediately voiced it. She did not. Instead, Taylor immediately just goes off on an angle of, well, only her real friends can be there. You're not her real friend. You are a fucking traitor.
Yeah.
So no, you should not be there. You are not in the position to tell Vanita and Leva that they don't really know Olivia and they can't be there for her. She's a fucking nutcase.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
And I think we see more of it in the second episode. And we're going to jump to that one now, and we're going to actually recap this one. But I'm having a tough time with it, and here's why. I don't think Taylor's a bad person. I think that we're seeing somebody make some really shitty decisions, and I hate to give her an out, and I'm not doing that because if you make your bed, you got to lie in it, and if
Yeah.
you're doing these stupid things, it's still your fault. I really think that Shep and that relationship really fucked her up.
Oh,
And
I
think that
agree
she
with
is
that, yeah.
just on a warpath and not knowing how to take the next step into a healthy life. She's just doing dumb shit, and I think that it keeps happening. It's cyclical at this point. It started with sending nudes to Whitney, and she even openly says, I did that to get back at him. Like, yeah, clearly we all know that, but for you to sit at a table of your peers and admit that to everybody is wild to me.
I didn't have an issue with that.
But
I like that
I don't
she
have an
admitted that.
issue with it. I'm just saying, like, wow, you're at the point now where it's like, yeah, all of my behavior has sucked recently, and I don't think it's even an out. I think it's just basically, yeah, Shep.
That
really
it is
fucked
what it
you
is,
up,
yeah.
and you are acting out as a result of it. And for
But at
me,
some point it has to stop.
agreed. And again, this is not me giving her an out because it's up to her to mend these relationships. It's up to her to take the necessary steps to become a better person and to actually grow from this. And whether she does or not is going to tell you who Taylor is actually as a person. It's similar to Scandival, not to the extent. Obviously, that was a much deeper affair. That was a much bigger thing that had been going on for months, which actual, like, with sex going on, and that's a much bigger deal. I'm not trying to belittle Scandival. What I'm saying is we had the opportunity to see how Raquel or Rachel responded to that, and it's been a terrible job. We've watched
You
her.
know what the funny thing is? And I guess I kind of do that anyway, just because it is a very similar scandal. It seems like we're dealing with grown-ups here. There's
Yeah.
there's some sort of sense of adulthood going on here with
Say
the way
with
that
a grain of salt.
yeah, well, compared to VPR. But you're seeing people kind of react in an adult and mature way. I mean, the way that Olivia's handled everything
She's
that's
a
been
rock
thrown
star,
at
dude.
her
She's
this
an absolute
entire
rock
season
star.
is crazy. And even Austen, I mean, Austen having perspective and being able to grow up in that moment is crazy to
Go to
me.
therapy.
Shep being able to and like I know Shep has ulterior motives. I'm not going to deny that. But him even providing a little bit of advice and kind of staying strong. Leva being a good rock. Vanita being a good rock.
Yeah.
Madison is the only one. And that's okay because Madison is Madison. She's the only one who's just kind of throwing jabs here and there anyway. She's having some fun. But it seems like we're dealing with grown-ups here and they're handling it in such more of a mature way than the entire VPR cast did.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just, for me, back to my point, is just we have the chance to see how Taylor responds, and that to me is going to define her character. This moment of weakness where she's done dumb shit repeatedly, is she in my good graces? No, you're in the
You don't
doghouse.
think
Sure.
you don't think the real friends defines her character?
The real friends?
Her saying she needs real friends doesn't define her character?
In this moment, I don't know because I think that she's so fucked
You're a
up.
nicer person than
I
I
am a nicer person than you. That's objective. Yes, absolutely. But my point is, when she gets through whatever she's going through, and it's not an excuse by any means, I'm just curious to see how she's going to respond. I don't have a side. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm Team Taylor. I think that she's despicable with the things that she's done. I don't think she's handled it well up to this point. I'm simply curious on how she's going to handle herself throughout the season. Is
Yeah.
it going to be a situation where she's actually able to look inward, grow, and become a better person? Or are we going to see the true side of Taylor come out and she actually is a vindictive person that's just trying to get over on people? That's what I'm curious about. And I don't know. I'm down the middle.
You are a wait and see kind of
I
guy.
am a wait and see kind of guy. I want to see how it
Sometimes.
plays out.
Sometimes you jump on the train right away, though.
Yeah, you know, I'm a wild card up in here. What can I say? But let's go through episode 2. We start the episode out. Shep and Taylor on a dog walk, and I don't know how I feel about this.
I think it's producer influenced.
You do?
Yeah.
It's producer / Shep. Shep definitely pushed it as well because he wants this relationship, not
Absolutely.
romantically.
He's been talking about the dogs meeting since pretty much he got back from Africa.
And he even says when they're like, oh, parents of divorced children, I'm like, oh, or children of divorce. I'm like, dude,
It's funny.
it's funny, but goddamn.
At
Like,
least you can laugh at it now. You would not laugh at that last year.
no,
You'd be
because
so
I'm
mad.
watching Southern Charm through the correct lens now. We've talked about this. I was watching it through the wrong lens. I get it now, but still at the same time, it's like, do you think Taylor's gonna ha at that? Like,
She did. She chuckled.
that was not a real ha.
Subtitles said chuckles.
But whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. But they're trying to figure out a way forward and to still be in each other's lives. Shep made it very clear, I don't want a relationship romantically. I just want a relationship with her. He said that a couple of times. So I'm curious to see. I would imagine that they will reconnect only because of this.
And we also didn't talk about Shep's scare with little Craig.
Oh, yeah. Little Craig
was-
had a little bit of a scare. I'm glad that they seem to have, a route.
Yep.
They're going to get his nasal passages widened or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So
Those dogs
hopefully
have
Craig's
trouble breathing.
cool. Yeah, they do. But we haven't heard anything negative happen to Craig, and this was filmed a while ago, so I'm assuming the surgery went well.
Yep.
Little Craig's doing good, so that's good. Good news there. But my thing with I lost what I was going to say now. Damn. Whatever, we'll move on. So since I had a brain fart, let's move on to Whitney's, and we got a boys' night. and the boys are all over there, and we get an awkward moment between Austen and Rod. And I don't understand Austen's holdup because
It's a forced awkward moment. I thought that they were
think he
okay.
Actually, no, I think that Austen actually has. This is a very good indicator of who Austen is and how he ticks. This relationship did not go on long enough, and you are not close enough with Rod.
You're in my court now.
Yeah, no, I agree with this. This did not go on long enough, and you are not close enough with Rod for you to be upset about those two dating.
Oh, you know what? Actually, it was Rod that gave me the indication that these people are mature.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way that Rod handled all
Rod
that,
handled
Jesus
it very
Christ.
well.
What an adult that guy
Because
is.
he even said when it was going down, he's like, I want to be there, but we're not at that point right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just I'm holding strong right now. I'm going to wait and see what the next move is, when I can go over there and see her, when I can comfort her. But for the time being, I'm doing all I can. Texted her, I'm thinking about you. And that's it. Because you're not dating.
Yeah.
And you're just giving her some space because you're an adult. Instead of the other people would
Crazy.
kick the door down with a teddy bear and be like, I'm so sorry. Rod actually has some tact. So hats off to Rod. But Whitney brings up the Rod, Olivia, and Austen thing in front of everybody, which is just weird to me. I don't know why
But
everyone.
that's what I was saying. When Rod walked in, Austen and Rod said hi, and there's going to be a little bit of awkwardness because, one, I don't really think that they're that close. They're not really friends. Whitney bringing it up in front of that isn't Austen's fault.
No.
Austen feels the way that he feels. We know how Austen feels
for
about it.
sure.
But if Austen can keep himself calm and not bring it up and not force conversations about it, I'm okay with it because he can feel whatever the fuck he wants as long as he keeps it internalized.
But he's not.
But in that group of friends, I mean, Craig used to be the one to bring things up like that. Craig kind of sits back a little bit now. Whitney bringing it up is no shocker at all. Whitney brings it up immediately, and it gets uncomfortable.
It does. But the one thing I liked about this scene, and Craig continues to take strides. He's talking to Austen, and Austen's like, I've been texting with Olivia. It's been really great, like reconnecting, and that I can be there for her. And Craig even points out that this might not be the best thing for Olivia. And this is where, for me, it gets a little murky. I'm going to save it for a little bit later. But moving on, we get a scene with Madison and Brett.
Did you just tease your own take?
I did. You got to keep
Is that what we're
listening to
doing?
find out. But we get a scene with Madison and Brett, and Hudson comes home. And my man got in a little bit of a scuffle. And hey, things happen on the playground. I didn't
Biting?
appreciate that he got bit like
Multiple times.
Like whoever's kids out there biting other kids, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Absolutely
What
unacceptable.
a loser that
Yeah,
kid is.
Your kid's a dork.
Yeah,
Why
that
is he
kid's a
biting
fucking
people?
snot-nosed little bitch.
Yeah, we don't like him because
No.
you can't be out here biting Hudson. If you want to throw fisticuffs, boys will be boys. Shit happens on the playground. Whatever.
Hudson got roughed up. Those
Dude, he came in like he got torn up a little bit. And I
Yeah.
felt that scene for me and all of these scenes with Madison, the wife, Madison, the mother, Madison with her family are great. And her and Brett seem real together. Brett's relationship with Hudson is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a beautiful thing. I love that was real. Like the comfort in that moment when Hudson was upset and like you see him hugging him, like, what can I get you, buddy? And Shirley Temple. Great call, by the way. That's real. And I love seeing this with Madison simply because I have been anti-Madison my whole Southern Charm career, including this season, just because I'm just not a Madison fan. I'm starting to turn because of the realness that she shows.
Family, those family scenes always get you going.
They
They
know
touch
me.
your heart.
They do, and I always fall for it every time, but I can't help it. And I think I speak for all parents here where Madison was talking about, and yes, I'm pulling my parent card, but she's like, I feel everything that he feels times 10,000. And like, it's the same with me and Pop. Like when she got a mean text from somebody one time, like they all, so what they do is,
Cyberbullying?
bro, so they take like selfies and she knows how to use the filters or whatever. And they just send them, she has an iPad, but it can only send to like certain people and
Sure.
like it's parent locked and everything. But her and her friends have just this little group chat and they'll take selfies of themselves and edit them and then send them back and forth to each other, right? This girl in her group chat thumbs down one of Poppy's selfies.
Jesus.
And I was like,
Christ.
and she showed me that. I almost cried. Poppy was cool as a cucumber. She's like, but it's okay. Like she just, sometimes people are mean when they're not happy. My 7-year-old
Damn.
said that to me. Meanwhile, I'm like, who the fuck thumbs downed it? Who thumbs down your picture?
What kind of emotional
Where's
intelligence?
I know, dude. She's light years ahead of me because I'm immediately thinking, where's her dad live? Because I'm going to beat him up because
You
his
have to. I
daughter
mean, that's
thumbs
the
down
necessary
my
next
daughter's
move.
picture. Yeah. But it was the point is like that hit
First
me.
off, her dad definitely can't drive in the snow.
No.
That dude would wreck his car.
For sure.
Yeah.
He would be stuck in
So
a
just
ditch
find some
calling
solace in
AAA.
that, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be calling AAA in 10 minutes, pal. But for Madison to say like how it hit her and how it affects her, I was like, that's real. I get that. And it was just a touching scene. But let's keep going. And we get Rod and Olivia, and they go to Windjammer. They're down at the beach bar, and he's just trying to get her out of the house. He's trying to see, how she's feeling, how she's doing with everything. And I saw on her neck, do you know what the TCB with a lightning bolt is?
No.
It's taking care of business. She's wearing an Elvis necklace,
Okay.
which I thought was pretty cool.
kinda
And then she
fun,
makes
yeah.
an Elvis reference later. It's like, oh, you're a big Elvis fan. Like, what are they? That's random because
There's a line that could be crossed somewhere in there, but yeah.
I had one. I had a
Yeah?
TCB lightning bolt necklace because my mom took me and my brother to Graceland.
You had a lightning bolt necklace.
I had the same, not that one. Don't do what you're doing.
Mhm.
No, stop it.
Okay.
It was a light. Oh, fuck. Did we just uncover a conspiracy?
It's all going back to Elvis. Elvis is actually still alive and pulling strings at Bravo.
he's an EP on Vanderpump Rules.
Checks out.
But I did think it was interesting in this scene that Olivia is the one that brings up Austen to Rod. And that's where my brain starts turning. Now the wheels are turning. I'm like, shit. What I don't want to come from this is an in for Austen. And I feel like this is where I play mental gymnastics because, like I said earlier, there are scenarios in which trivial bullshit can go to the side. I don't think what happened between Austen and Taylor is trivial. However, when you're presented with Olivia's brother passing away, that immediately takes a back seat. Yep. My immediate concern is how is Olivia going to get through this? Are her friends going to be there for her? Austen can offer some real insight into this and can actually comfort her. And if they develop a friendship out of this, that's okay. And I don't think that it means that he's trying to weasel his way in. However, would I put it beyond Austen to use this to not his advantage, but more so like you said, where here's a pass now because this crazy thing happened and it's so sad.
Right.
And now you have a chance to get back in her good graces. I don't think he's doing it maliciously. Let me make that very clear. I think he's trying to be there for her because he's gone through a similar thing. I just don't want to see this turn into something like that. And I get scared of that because later we see Rod and Olivia at the party at JT's and Austen has an issue. He's sitting there drinking his beer, like staring at those two. I'm like, well, for me, that's not you looking out for the best interest. We think it could have been production, but in the confessional, he's like, I don't like it. It's weird. That's where I'm like, dude, in this time of need for Olivia, you have been there. You've been a good friend. She said you've been a good friend. You guys have connected over this. You're helping her through this in a very weird stage of her life in which you can offer insight into her grief. Great. If you see her vibing with Rod, your immediate concern should be, great, she's smiling. That's awesome.
I'm so weary of Bravo production, though, to the point that I think that could have been a confessional about something else. That could have just been a generalized confessional about him talking about Rod and Olivia together and how he feels, and they put it in there.
Well, then
which would be fucked.
But we've definitely seen some shady shit like that.
Oh, for sure. But my thing with Austen is watching him in various shows for all these years. When he's up to something, you know it immediately. That man does not have a poker face. And I think that what you said is entirely true. He's just trying to be there for her as a friend and as somebody who went through something similar.
Yeah.
I think that's the extent of it for now.
I do too. I don't want to throw that out there.
I don't think that I don't think he was even looking at them when he was drinking his beer. I think that was shitty production. I think they're trying to pull some sort of move in there to make it look to us, the viewer,
God, I hope
that
not.
He's staring across the. Would you
something
not
like
put it past
this,
them?
I would not put it past them by any means. But
Those are the
like,
types of things that we wouldn't even question, though, because it's in the middle of a crazy thing that's happened, a terrible thing that's happened. Bravo can slip it in there, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Whoa, Austen, what the fuck's going on?" But we know Austen. If Austen was up to something and he was trying to finagle his way back in there and still feeling some way about, like, at the end of the day, he said it a million times. He wants her to be happy.
Yeah, and I believe, like,
There's no way, I just can't imagine him looking across the room and being like, she's happy. I'm now going to go to a confessional and talk about that party that we went to after Olivia's brother passed away. I'm going to talk about Olivia and Rod. I don't see that.
I agree with you there.
I think that he doesn't choose his words that carefully, but in that situation, I feel like he would.
I agree with you, actually. I think that's a good way to look at
Yeah.
it. Because, and let me sum it up from what I was saying, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea here. I think that Austen's on the up and up with his comfort to Olivia. I think he's trying to do his best to help her through this, to help a friend through this. I don't think this is romantically charged.
Okay. Yeah.
What I'm afraid of is if the
At some
door
point
opens,
it could. At some point it could.
And I
Yes,
don't
I agree
want
with
that
that.
to happen because that will negate what he's doing for her now. That's how I sum it up. Okay.
Well put.
Yeah, because I don't want people to think I'm like throwing him under the bus because I do think he's trying to do the right thing here. I really do.
Look
And
at
I
you
really
with
hope he
words.
is. I'm a wordsmith. What can I say? But it looks like Olivia and Rod are going to see where things go. She appreciates that he's taking it slow. And I like Rod. Rod is a grown up. He's a grown man. And it's nice to see one of those every now and then on these shows because we don't have a whole lot of them. But
You know, I actually pictured, now that we're talking about grown men, somebody on this cast was to be the biter of the group. Like if they were in a playground fight and somebody bit. JT, 1000%.
JT
He's
totally bites.
He still bites, I'm sure.
JT got in a fight with Hudson and bit him.
Well, I didn't say that.
Hudson didn't like his event space. He said it was tacky.
No, his mom didn't like his event space, and he took it out on Hudson at the
Oh,
playground.
God.
They were playing Foursquare, and he freaked out.
They're playing Gaga, and he lost his mind. But the next scene, we get a FaceTime between Austen and Taylor, and here's where I get frustrated, because this is where Olivia is no longer taking priority. They're now talking about the reactions of Venita and Leva when Olivia was supposed to come over to Venita's place, and they were supposed to have like a powwow just to see how she's doing and have a girls' night. Because the focus of the conversation goes to the semantics of it, where it's like she says her best friend should be there, her real friend should be there, and Austen gets like really self-righteous in this moment. And he's like, your best friend shouldn't be there. It's like, yes, she should, but let's remember the circumstances here. Okay, because of what you guys did, Olivia might not be in a place where she wants Taylor there. Just because she doesn't want to even think about anything other than her brother passing and getting through this, I don't think that keeping her mind occupied with other things means let's remind her of what Taylor did. So I think that Venita was right in that moment to say, I think you're kind of all over the place right now. Maybe take a step back.
I agree. Yeah.
I think she was totally correct there. And I've actually liked what we've gotten out of
Taylor
Venita.
proved that immediately.
Instantly,
Like,
right?
instantly.
And her FaceTime with Austen proves that as well. It's like, you're too emotional about what they said to you. You can't even see what they're trying to do. This is not about you. This is about Olivia and how she's doing. If you bring chaos into the situation because you're erratic right now, that's not putting Olivia first. Maybe you as a friend should take a step back and be like, I need to be my best self for Olivia right now.
I just have a fucking issue with the fact that Taylor and Austen are really talking at all.
Right? Me too.
In the middle of all of this, in the middle of your scandal that just went down, you guys haven't missed a beat.
No, they FaceTime
You're
every
still
day.
FaceTiming. You're still probably doing massages together. You're still doing IV drips together when you're hungover. You didn't change any aspect of your life. If you are being accused of doing this, you immediately kind of step away and try to prove to everybody, well, maybe we did get a little too close. Maybe we should back off. No, they're ramping it up. They're getting more involved. They're FaceTiming. And that's the problem. I think and again, I hate drawing parallels to Scandival, but it's the same thing as Tom and Raquel. They felt like everybody was against them, so they need to talk. This is not that situation.
No.
Austen has all of his friends. All of his friends are laughing at the fact that he did it. Shep forgave him immediately, and obviously, again, Shep has ulterior motives, but Shep forgave him. Craig is cool with him. You've got Whitney. You've got like 3 or 4 other guys that can pop in at any fucking time. Obviously, JT's got his own thing going on there. But Taylor doesn't really have anybody, I guess you could say. Taylor should be trying to get back into the good graces of everybody else.
Agreed.
Venita, Leva, everybody else that feels what you've gone through, that realizes what you've gone through and is giving you shit for it.
Right.
You need to prove to them that you can be a good friend overall.
Agreed.
Instead, they're still like together as if it's them against the world. That's a really bad look in this situation.
Terrible look.
Unless there's way more to this relationship than they're letting on.
You were the one that backpedaled last week and said you don't think that.
I don't think it. I'm just throwing out the theory. Throwing out theories.
Just stirring the pot.
Just stirring the pot.
I like that.
What do you want from me?
I still think there's more there, and I think we're going to find out more eventually. But we get to JT's event space. He was originally going to have a launch party, but, again, credit to JT. He realizes it's not the time for a launch party. Let's have a really nice
What would
dinner.
you say this is, though?
This is a moment to look. I'm not going to shade him for this. This is getting everybody together. It's giving Olivia something to do where she's out of the house. She's surrounded by, I guess you can call them
In
friends.
the event space.
Look, he's still trying to
yeah.
promote the event space.
I know.
He's
Yeah,
still
that's what
trying
I'm
to promote
getting
the event space. All right, I get that. I get it.
It's still on TV,
But
he definitely saw the opportunity to put his event space on TV.
the funny thing,
And then they took it away from him in the form of Olivia's brother passing away, unfortunately.
well,
And now he's like, you know what? Let's not have a party. Let's have a dinner party. Like, dude, it's the same fucking thing.
my thing with that, yeah, he's totally still trying to promote the space, but at least he has the wherewithal to be like, I'm going to frame it differently, instead of just being like, oh, we're
And
going to
maybe
go.
there's
forward
like
with the
less
party.
people there than would have
There had
been
to
there.
be less people than the
But
launch
there was
party.
still a lot more
What's
people there.
interesting to me, and I want to know why, when Leva walks in, she makes a face, and I'm like, does she think the event space is tacky? Is it too hot in there, or was she just surprised to see somebody? That's where my brain goes, because she made a face, and I was like, oh, I don't think.
I
she
don't know.
likes the space.
I trust Leva's business instincts.
I do too.
I think that she knows.
I think she walked
Little
in and was
tacky.
like, this ain't gonna work.
What is it? I mean, do you just have
It's an
banquets
event
and shit there?
space. People just rent it out. You can have like a private party, private dinner.
When we go down to Charleston, maybe we'll rent JT's. We'll throw him a bone,
That would be really funny, actually.
and then we'll write in a little notebook. You know,
I'll
I
hit up-
didn't like this accent pillow.
You know what? I'll hit up Joe Bradley. We'll have the Southern Hospitality.
Oh, yeah, we
thieves
can do
come
that,
party
yeah.
with us in JT's event space.
We'll make sure Leva gets there, and then we can ask Leva, "What do you think about this event space?"
Yeah, you made a face. Can you explain to us what the face was? But let's get back to the party, the dinner party. Sorry, it's not a launch party. It's a dinner party. Shep's the first one to arrive, and this is where all sympathy and all soft feelings towards Shep go out the window for me, because he walks in and they're talking about the fact that JT was having pretty much a speakeasy run out of this place during all of COVID. Shep says, I think I was in that room. I remember that room. There might have been some young ladies involved. Except, no, there wasn't, because I was in a relationship. That didn't happen. You fucking moron. Stop admitting how many times you cheated on Taylor. And then you want to have a relationship with her, and you're bewildered as to why she doesn't want to hang out with you. Because of shit like that, dude. Like, you just outed yourself. I'm so glad the production kept that in.
It's so funny.
And then you get to JT, and this pissed me off too, because he's like, I just don't know why you have the best catch in the sea. You don't throw that catch back. I'd never throw that catch back. It's
We
like,
know.
We get it, bro. We fucking get it. And the cherry on top is at this party, at a night for Olivia to get over her brother passing away, or at least give her a reprieve from it around her friends. You take it upon yourself, amidst all the chaos between Austen and Taylor, you take it upon yourself to ask Taylor if she's dating. When she says no, you immediately offer up, oh, me neither. And then she's like, yeah, I'm not looking for anything right now. And he gets this sad puppy dog look on his face, like he's like, oh, there goes my chance. My guy, we've said this 15 times. I'm going to say it one last time, and hopefully he hears this. Maybe you guys need to tag him out there so he hears this next
I don't know if we need to tag JT in any of our
I'm not.
videos.
I'm saying maybe some of our listeners will tag this clip right here. My guy, if you went on a trip to London or Paris, or wherever you guys went overseas, and she hooked up with your friend on that trip, she is not interested in you romantically, sexually, or anywhere in between. Get over it and move on, because it's not going to happen. And at this point,
You know, he told his mom about her.
without a doubt,
His mom
doubt.
knows her by her first name.
Yeah. Oh, is this Taylor? That's what
Oh
her
my
mom says.
God,
That's
yeah.
what his mom said. Is this her? And he goes, Mom, stop. Stop it. You're going to embarrass me in front of
I'm
Taylor.
actually surprised that she didn't like slip up while walking through the event space and saying, "You think you're going to impress Taylor with this shit?"
Yeah, I know why you're doing this. I told you to move back to Virginia years ago. She's not into you. Get over it.
Oh, God.
I don't want your life, Mom.
And it's rough because at times, like, if you just give me the general overview, I'd say I feel bad for the guy, but he puts his foot in his mouth all the time
I
with
know.
all of the things that we've just put on example for the
He
last
can't help
weeks.
himself, dude. He doesn't know any better.
No, it's tough.
But he's still great for TV, honestly. But
Mm.
Whitney walks in wearing the Curious George suit, which they were asking what the name of the man in the yellow hat was.
So brutal.
You know what the name of the man in the yellow hat is?
Isn't he just the man in the yellow hat?
That's
Yeah.
it. So they're like, what's his name? I'm like, you're saying it, you idiots. That's his name. But Whitney looked,
Isn't it John? No, John is Garfield's.
yeah, John's
Okay,
Garfield.
yeah.
No, it's the man in the yellow hat.
It is the
Trust me,
man in the
I've read
yellow
that
hat,
book
yeah.
many times.
But again, that's still one of the meanest things you can say. If you feel like you look good and you walk into a room with your boys in there and they start ripping your outfit apart, it hurts.
Well, especially when he's like, I have this made in Italy. It's like, you need to get your money back because you look like a
He
pimp.
did. He did not look good.
He
I
looks
will
like
give him that. But
he-
you're in Charleston. You can wear whatever fucking pastel color you want.
Except poop mustard yellow.
Yeah, he should have gone pastel
Like, it's
yellow.
diarrhea yellow. And he walks in, he legit looks like a pimp. Whitney the pimp.
He looks like a pimp pretty regularly.
That's true. That's true. You could argue that oh.
Nope. Nope. Not touching that one. We're not getting into that.
Totally kidding. Totally kidding. Moving on, though, we get Madison and Vanita have a conversation, and Vanita brings up to Madison how Taylor was saying she needs her real friends around her. And I think Madison's actually done a pretty good job of staying not neutral, but not ramping things up. She hasn't presented things to the entire group when she could have. She has enough ammo.
Until now,
Because Vanita lets her in on the fact that Taylor said that Taylor's her real friend. And Madison points out what we're all thinking. How are you her real friend when you're hooking up with the dude that she likes?
Mm-hmm.
You are the last person to throw that out there. And that gives credit to your point, what you said earlier, that Taylor's doing this for selfish reasons because of that. And that's fair, just because of that one sentence alone. But Madison's like disgusted about it. And what does she do? Well, Taylor sending nudes to Whitney, and Vanita almost has a heart attack.
I'm so happy Vanita got involved.
Vanita's had a good couple of episodes.
Yeah, it's two episodes. She's stringing a couple together. I like it.
This is what I wanted, though, and they haven't given her the chance to. And maybe it's because she's bopping around like she's going to Fashion Week. So maybe she's not there enough. I don't know. But she's done a good job with the time she's been presented with on camera. I will say that. But that's when Taylor, which is funny, and I'm sure it was just production timing it up that way, but Taylor arrives in that moment, of course, and JT hugs her for way too long. This is when he asks her about being single or whatever, which is fucking, I can't. It grinds my gear. That's when we finally get a little bit of a conversation on screen between Olivia and Austen. And she recognizes that, you've been there, you've been supportive of me, you're helping me through these very murky waters on how to process and how to move on from all of this. And she even says, I recognize that this is like a sad comfort, but it is a comfort. And we also get a line from Olivia that I think is so important because this is the stance that you and I have had for a while.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not that mad at Austen. I'm able to get over this, especially right now, where, again, trivial things will fall to the side when something real happens, like your brother passing away, and you're going to prioritize, all right, what's really important to me? This relationship with Austen's helping me through this.
Yep.
For better or worse, he knows how to comfort and how to discuss this. And at the same time, they were not together long enough, and you said this from the jump, for this to continue being a those two problem. The problem lies in Olivia and Taylor and Shep and Austen. Shep and Austen are fine. Olivia and Taylor need to figure it out. What does not need to happen is what we see at the dinner table, and now this takes center stage on a night that's not about this, because Madison brings it upon herself to bring this up to the table.
Yeah.
Because she just had to tell Shep about it. Shep comes over, and Shep
only went over there because Craig was over there originally, and they had heard about it.
Yes.
And when Craig went over to the boys, he said, I couldn't be sitting over there. It involves, yes, Shep, it does involve you in some way. Shep immediately goes over and
he
says,
said Shep, you should go over there. He said Shep, you should go over there.
Yeah, that's Craig, and that's fine. I have no issues with that. Shep goes over, obviously gets the information.
Does not react.
I thought he did react in a Shep way.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck?
Kind of.
Yeah,
He's like, you know
kind
what?
of.
What she does is none of my business.
But that's the thing. That's actually the mature take to have.
I agree.
You can be mad at you can be mad at Whitney again, like we talked about in the beginning of the show. You can be mad at Whitney for showing other people. Other people should not know that this happened. Whitney shouldn't be telling other people that it happened. You can't really be mad at Taylor because one, Shep cheated on her multiple times.
I'm not mad at Taylor about the nude.
Oh no, not mad at Taylor at all about the nude. She's an adult woman. She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and send images of your naked body to Whitney.
Well, it's like Craig said. There's so many guys to send it to.
Yes.
Don't send it to Whitney. That paints a picture of somebody not thinking or doing the right thing.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And this is just not the time or place to be discussing this at all.
Absolutely not.
That is the overlaying factor of this entire thing. And we'll get into the Madison thing in a second. This should not be being discussed during this whole thing. Should be about Olivia. It should be about a little bit of normalcy so that she can get out of the house, try to, obviously you're not going to get her minds completely off of things, but show her a normal time, not a time that people are going to be ripping her apart because guess what? Her and Taylor are at odds. So she's going to be conflicted. She's going through a fucking shit ton right now, more than anybody can imagine. And she's at odds with her best friend that she thought was her best friend for the last 6 to 8 months. And now her best friend for the last 6 to 8 months is getting ripped apart for singing a nude to Whitney by Madison, who just wants to stir shit up.
Yep.
It's just not the time or place. You should not be having this discussion. There shouldn't be turmoil in the midst of something that should just be supportive of Olivia. Your friends are all here. We just want to let you know that you're here. We're here for you. Here's a normal evening of good food, a couple of drinks, a couple of laughs. Take your mind off of it for a little bit because you need it. Instead, we're going to go down this fucking rabbit hole of this craziness that's been happening as an overlaying factor for the entire season.
And it's highlighted by the fact that Olivia is the one that has to speak up and say, look, and this is the best thing she could have said, and it's something that I was like screaming at the TV. This is between Olivia and Taylor. And Olivia has handled it shockingly well up until this point. Olivia is also dealing with way more right now that she doesn't want to deal with this and says that. Like, now's not the time. Her and I need to figure this out. I appreciate the support, but everybody jumping on the bandwagon and then dragging her at this dinner table right now and saying mean things to her is helping nobody. It's not helping us move forward. Maybe it's helping you feel better because you're venting this shit. And you just, I think for Madison, it's more personal because she caught so much shit in the past for doing
similar things. Yeah.
And that's fair because, like she says,
fair,
like,
but not at this time. And the
Not
fact
this
that
time.
Olivia is the one who has to speak up about it is crazy.
it is.
There's no one else, no one level-headed enough in this group. Shep is defending his ex-girlfriend for doing that, and people are ripping Shep apart for defending his ex-girlfriend.
Well, then-
That's also crazy. He should not be stepping in to talk about this. Olivia should definitely not be speaking up to tell everybody to shut
She
the
shouldn't
fuck up.
have to.
She should not have to. There are a lot of other people in this group that can shut things down. No one speaks up. They're all cowards.
They all are cowards, but we've known that for a while. The only one, and of course, this dude was so cringy to me. I appreciated that he stood up and said, this is a male-centric problem in regards to Taylor and her behavior recently, and it is. It's due to Shep and his shenanigans. Or his Shep-nanigans, if you will.
Oh.
I'm not denying that at all. I'm on board. But then we get this white knight. He stands up, knight in shining armor at the table, and now JT is defending all women everywhere. He's like, let's not talk to women like this at the table. We're not going to do this. Let's have a little respect for the women, guys. It's like, my man, you're not going to get fucked because of what you're doing right now, and you think you are.
It's also Madison going after Taylor.
I know.
That's a woman-on-woman thing.
Exactly.
Why don't you butt yourself out of here, JT?
Fuck off, dude. Like, you're not getting laid because
It's
of this
not
weird
like-
speech.
It's not like every guy went around the table and called Taylor a whore.
No.
It's Madison yelling at Taylor because she understands that there's a double standard here.
And she's pissed
And
off
she's
about
pissed
it.
off about it. Again, Madison, not the time or place, but I'm not going to neg Madison because that's who Madison is. We know this, and this is what she does. It's okay because that's what she is, and it makes for good TV, and we're sitting here talking about it. However, in a normal situation that is not filmed, this is fucking insane.
Crazy.
This is ludicrous.
It's outrageous, if you will. Again, JT's fucking great for TV, man. You can't deny that. Like, these are gold moments for me.
I
at
don't know.
least.
He's a doofus.
He is a
like-
doofus, but he's our doofus. That's how I
Oh,
feel
whoa,
about
whoa,
him.
whoa, whoa.
That's
He's
how I
your
feel about him.
doofus.
He's my doofus.
Lump me in on that.
That fine. He's my doofus,
Okay,
and I think
that's
he's good for TV. But all in all, these last two episodes, I mean, very emotional once again. Anybody watching, I'm sure, felt it as well. And this is a really, really solid season so far. And I don't want to, give credit. It's solid because Olivia's brother passed away. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's more so the fact that when these things happen, you see casts react a different way. And in a lot of instances, you'll see people be opportunistic. You'll see people kind of take a weird route in which they're using this to garner empathy or sympathy from the viewers. Whereas here, I'm seeing a lot of genuine responses, a lot of people stepping up to the plate to take care of their friend going through something that's the hardest thing she's ever dealt with. And it allows for us to see past some of the bullshit, which is the stuff that we've been dealing with this season so far, and connect with these people. And I think that that's so important for a successful show. And moreover, it's just refreshing to see that even though so many of these people are so full of shit a lot of the time, when it matters, they are able to show up for people. And that's important.
And then they're not.
And then they're not. And then they make it about something else at the dinner table. But hey, baby steps. But that takes us to the question portion of the show. And we've got quite a few, so let's jump right in. Up first, From Tough Texan, Team Bethany or Team Bravo?
Team Bravo. That's not even a question.
Not even Team Bravo, just not Team Bethany. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's where I'm at.
Bravo cuts our checks, though.
Yeah, that's
Talk
true.
nicely about their
Bravo,
shows.
the Gorgas, and who else? The Fudas.
Fudas. We're pretty rich, dude.
Yeah, we're so rich from getting paid off by Bravo personalities.
Great.
That sentence alone is crazy. But anyway, from Nats GR, do you think there's a double standard between Taylor and Madison? Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's very clear.
Yeah.
From Pineapple Bex, RE, regarding Uba's comments about hitting her ex. How can we vilify Sandoval but allow that? That's an interesting topic, actually. When she said that, I didn't love that. The fact that she smacked every man that she's been with.
Right.
You're 100% correct. I'm surprised that that was taken so lightly because that is not cool at all. Whether it's a man or a woman, you're not supposed to hit anybody. Keep your hands to yourself. So, yeah, that's actually a good point. Way to call it out. From Amelia0629. Amelia from Toronto. Love the podcast. Would love for you to interview Austen and Craig. Amelia, that's not a question. But thank you for your candor.
Yeah, thanks, Amelia.
Damn it. I was just reading. I didn't look at... There's no question mark at the end of it. I have a hard enough time with these as is. Don't send me statements, Amelia.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron. I don't know what to do with my hands. No, it's
That's a different movie.
JK. Both Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
From Kristen Robb, why is Rodrigo in the promo photos? He has had a single line on camera. I
He's
like
had a
Rodrigo,
couple.
and I like him.
Yeah, he really hasn't been in it at all. Maybe he's in it later in the season.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe he is a
It is
bigger
weird that
presence
he's in the
later.
promo pictures.
That's a good point, but I like when there's just normal people on the screen.
I know.
Amidst the craziness, and he strikes me as like a normal dude. Rod strikes me as a normal dude. The two Rods.
Couple of rods.
Well, Rod squared.
Ramrod.
Ramrod. Car Ramrod. Those guys, I like those guys.
Yep.
Keep the rods pure. Don't ruin them.
Let's clip that one. I like that.
Keep the rods pure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep the rods pure.
It's a new STD campaign.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Okay. Sure. From Chartic 1, do you think Taylor's getting off easy and not being held accountable?
Tough. I feel like she
yeah.
would be. I think she has been somewhat held accountable, and I think that she would continue to be held accountable. Obviously, circumstantial. Not going to happen.
And shouldn't. Again,
Maybe they'll revisit it in a couple of weeks.
But here's the thing: it needs to be revisited.
I don't think
as
it's going away.
Conversation between Taylor and Olivia, and that's it.
When Olivia's ready to have that conversation.
Yes, the rest of the group does not need to stir this shit up. I get that Madison feels slighted. That's fine. You can have that conversation at another time and place. Like,
However, ain't no pictures with Olivia and Taylor recently. I don't think
oh,
there's any reconciliation to be
I
had.
guess we'll find out. This is the perfect way to end it. From Mary Had a Little, not a cue. I just want to see more of Rodrigo on Southern Charm.
There you
We
go.
agree.
Normal
Keep
people.
the rods pure. Keep your rod pure with... No, I'm just kidding. That would be great. If we had an ad for like an STD medicine.
We were offered an ad for some sort of condom thing. It's like,
Oh, see, we could have used Keep Your
Yeah.
Rod Pure. Damn. Talk
Missed
about a missed
opportunity,
opportunity.
condom people.
Yeah, sorry, condom people.
Durex or whoever.
No, it wasn't. It was like...
We don't need to say who it was. I was just kidding.
Well, that does it for us. Do you have anything else, Shooter? All right, cool.
Oh, wait, no, I do actually have something.
If you fuck me up on this, I swear to God, what? What do you have?
Tomorrow's episode, I've got a little information on Eagle Woman.
Really?
I said that I was coming back with information about Eagle Woman. I've got a little recap.
Wow, you haven't even told me this.
It's going to be my current events.
Wow, you actually had something and I was a dick. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Yeah, that's my bad. What a
Your
dick.
rod is not pure.
Yes, it is.
Huh?
We're taking weird turns here. That's all we got this week. We'll see yous on Friday. You get 3 episodes this week. You're welcome.